Hello parents, this is Jennifer Blackman with our Spring 2020 DEP parent meeting. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Typically we'd have our meeting on Bain campus and we'd be able to talk face to face and I would answer any questions that you had. Unfortunately, under the circumstances at this time, our DEP meeting must be virtual. However, at the end, if you have questions, I'd encourage you to email me at jennifer.blackman@cms.k12.nc.us. There will also be a Google form available, and you can ask questions that way as well. I hope this all finds you safe and well, and that we will be together very soon. Let's go ahead and get started. So our typical meeting would be about 25 minutes if we were meeting face-to-face. Due to the criteria of the screencast app that I'm using at this time, we will be limited to 15 minutes. So I will do a brief overview. The first thing I wanted to do was tell you a little bit about me. I know that your children have been coming to see me prior to the quarantine and that you might not know a whole lot about me. So this is my 17th year of teaching. I have spent 13 years at Bain. Prior to that, I was at another CMS school in the university area. And prior to that, I worked in an elementary school in Maryland, which is where I'm originally from. I have experience teaching 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and now 5th grade through TD. And I've also taught some community college writing composition courses. I have a master's degree in literacy. I have a national board certification, and I'm AIG certified, which means I have a special certification to work with children who are academically and intellectually gifted. I'm also a mom of 3 children. Ethan is in 8th grade at Mint Hill Middle School. Tristan is in 6th grade, also at Mint Hill, and Abby is in preschool. My husband Matt is an engineer, and he is our science and math expert at home. So to begin, I wanted to talk a little bit about my position at Bain. I wear 3 hats in this position. I am compliance, I am facilitator, and I am teacher. I'm going to quickly run through what each of those jobs consists of. First of all, my compliance is screening and identification of academically and intellectually gifted students. You all are very familiar with the testing process that we've just completed for this year and includes the COGAT aptitude test, the ITBS achievement test, the portfolio process, and all of the ways that we gather information about our students in CMS and identify our TD students. My second job is as facilitator, and this is an indirect service appointment by our administrator. And I support classroom teachers with curriculum, resources, and ideas during planning for their high ability learners. Oftentimes, I bring in ideas for how they can reach their TD students differently or provide extension or enrichment to what they already have planned. I will also talk with them in small groups or individually about specific students who have special needs in the gifted area. Thirdly, I am also, and this is my favorite hat to wear, a direct service provider, meaning that I actually do teach students face-to-face. I accomplish direct service in a variety of ways. Up until now, I have done it through pull-out groups and through co-teaching, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a few minutes, and also recently through virtual learning opportunities now that we are working from home. I do want to talk about the flexibility that virtual learning may provide in next year's school year, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So what is co-teaching? Essentially, co-teaching is where 2 teachers plan and deliver instruction together. I co-teach with general education teachers in grades 3, 4, and 5. I also do some co-teaching in 2nd grade. We work together, we meet weekly to discuss ways that we can deliver enrichment in the regular classroom, And we also discuss placement for students. So at Bain, traditionally what we have done is placed our TD students into clusters of students who are then placed into a teacher's class. Now, I've had folks ask me over the years how it is determined which teachers have TD clusters and which do not. There are a variety of factors that go into that decision each year. It goes into numbers and our allotments, how many TD students we have, how many teachers we have on each grade level, who has interest in teaching TD clusters and co-teaching with me. So we kind of take a lot of things into account. We also have folks who will go on a rotation. Some grade levels will put in 2 or 3 years with TD clusters, and then they will roll off and allow another teacher to do the TD teaching that following year. So there are different arrangements depending upon many factors each year. So I wanted to quickly show a picture of a co-taught classroom. The general education teacher is out of the camera frame, and she has a small group working at a side table. You can see that I am on the floor working with a group of TD students, and there are other students who are working independently at their desk. When I am in the room co-teaching, it does offer a lot of flexibility for the teacher in that classroom, and there are many ways that we can accomplish that. The 6 models of co-teaching are what you see on your screen at this time, and the 4 that are highlighted, parallel teaching, station teaching, alternative teaching, and team teaching, are the 4 that we use most often at Bain. The one teach, one observe, and the one teach, one support are used but not very often. We don't feel that those maximize having 2 adults in the room, so we prefer to do one of the other 4. Parallel teaching is where 2 teachers are teaching the same concept, but they are using different methods. Alternative teaching is where a teacher will teach a concept using one method, and then teacher B is teaching a completely different concept using a different method. Often this makes the most sense when we have a student group who has mastered the standard already that the general education teacher is teaching and has no need to sit through that particular standards instruction, and so we give them something different to do during that time. Station teaching is exactly what it sounds like, where both teachers are engaging with students in groups that are rotating around the room. And then we have team teaching, which is where teachers both take the instructional lead role and they sort of feed off of each other. I call this the peanut butter and jelly teaching approach. It has to be very well planned to be effective, but we find that it works very well when we're modeling certain kinds of behavior for students. If we want students to engage in academic discourse and conversation, having 2 adults in the room to talk through the topic together and model that behavior for students is incredibly effective. All right, so there are many benefits to co-teaching. It does address different learning styles, and it does allow us flexibility in differentiating instruction. We also feel like with 2 adults in the room, because of the teacher-to-student ratio, that it does increase student attention and more opportunities for students to interact directly with the teacher. I also love that students can work throughout the week on TD work. It's not that they are only working on TD when they're getting pulled out of the classroom. And again, it's a great opportunity for modeling. This year we started an EL curriculum, expeditionary learning curriculum in K3. Next year we will extend that curriculum into 4th and 5th grade. This is something that I've been working very, very closely with through our TD department. I am on a work group that is making TD aligned enrichment and extension activities for our new curriculum. And I'm really proud of the work that we have done. So we have lots of great resources, activities, and lessons that have been made for all TD teachers district-wide to really enrich students in what they're learning in the classroom. I also touch social studies and science tasks in TD. We have STEM units and hands-on building opportunities, and there is some great projects. We do a game board building project in 5th grade. So there's a lot going on with our TD literacy and then embedding in that science and social studies. We also have for math math. We have daily, if not daily, every other day math groups that are receiving extension. We also have a Math Olympiad team for 4th and 5th grade students, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and lots of opportunity for extension and enrichment in mathematics. I also am a fan of PBL. PBL can stand for problem-based learning and project-based learning. This is when students are confronted with a real-life problem or a problem that they have chosen, and then they create some sort of product after they've researched that topic and learned more about it. And oftentimes there is an action step for an authentic audience where not only are they creating a product, but they're solving that problem by sharing their ideas with someone who can make a real difference. This is a great way for students to understand how real life and real world problems and learning at school and knowledge and academics really come together. So I am a huge fan of PBL, and we do try to integrate PBLs in each grade level at Bain. As always, you can check out my website if you'd like to have any ideas about what we're doing at Bain. baintd.weebly.com is where you can find that. That is the website that your students have been on since we have begun our remote learning journey throughout this quarantine. This is our main page. Our homeschool TD enrichment tab, which is the second one over, is the one that your child has probably been using the most. So you are welcome to check out the website anytime. I also wanted to mention that we do, once students get into 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, we do use Canvas for our TD students at Bain. Canvas is an online learning platform that many of you might be much more familiar with now that your children are homeschooling during this time. I have found it incredibly helpful to use as a way for parents to be involved in seeing what their children are doing in TD. And we have a great set of directions here for children to be able to access their Canvas portal from home. Once they get into 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, it's really helpful for them to be able to access things from home that they're working on. If they need more time or if they'd like to show you what they're working on, they can do that. All right, extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities that I run at Bain are the Math Olympiad team, which is a selection of 4th and 5th graders that compete in math challenges and are invited to join the team. My team is 35 students. The Math Olympiad team rules cut the enrollment at 35, so unfortunately I can not make a team of more than 35 students, but that will be coming down the pike possibly for your TD student. We also have a variety of Bain clubs that vary each year. This year I was on the student council club, but I would expect that this coming school year that there will be new clubs and new sponsors for each club, so stay tuned for that information. So this has been a general overview of the TD program at Bain. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I know that this is an uncertain time. We're not exactly sure what school will look like when we return in the fall, but I did want to reach out to each of you and let you know that if you have any questions, you are welcome to email or to submit them in the Google form that I'm sending out with this video. As I get more information about allotments and plans for this year, for next year, I will certainly share those with you as the situation is always changing. Thank you all so much for your attention. Again, I hope you all are safe and well. Take care.